Saturdays with Sarah, but also sometimes Sunday because I am a full-time student and I'm really busy. Yeah. Hey friends, it's Sarah, and I have my crown on today because I'm going to be giving some tips for anyone who is thinking of hiring a princess or character performer for their kid's birthday party or an event of some sort. So basically, if you didn't know this about me, I worked as a princess performer at kids' parties and events for about a year and a half, my junior to senior year, and let me preface this by saying it was my dream job. I had so much fun doing it, literally a dream come true, and I would love to do it again in the future. I honestly just stopped moving there because I had to leave for college, but that's not what this video is about. So obviously I love my job, but doing like hundreds of parties, I noticed some reoccurring things that would happen during the parties that I think could be fixed. So I wanted to give some tips for people thinking about hiring someone for their party, just how to make it easier for the performer, how to make your party go more smoothly, basically. So I have 8 tips, so let's freaking get started. Number 1 is pretty basic. Please make sure that your child actually wants a princess or whatever character at their birthday party, because it is so awkward for me if I get there and your kid hates me, like does not want me there at all, is too old for it, is just not feeling it, whatever. Just please make sure they understand what's happening. Be like, oh, do you want Cinderella to come and hang out with you for your birthday party? She'll sing and play games with you, and then if they want it, that sounds great. If they're like, what? Cinderella's not real, or like they just like seem kind of shy for that, then maybe don't do it, because it's just so much nicer and easier on me if all the children there are interested in me and having a good time. Number 2, seems like it would be an obvious thing, but I just don't think that people think about it. Please introduce yourself as the guardian and your child to me when I walk in, because all I know going into your house is your child's age and their name. So I walk in and a room full of strangers sits in front of me and I have no idea who any of you are. So it's really nice if you introduce the birthday child right when I walk in the door, because usually I would have to ask, are you my birthday princess? And it's really awkward if they're not. And then a lot of the times someone random would open the door, or I just have no idea who all the adults are. So whoever you are as the guardian for the party, please, even if you don't open the door for me, come right when I enter and be like, hi, my name is blah blah blah, I'm the mother or the grandparent, just so that I know that you're in control, because I am gonna have to reference you a lot throughout the party just to make sure things are going well and I'm doing what you want. And like, I've been halfway through a party and I had to ask the birthday girl, hi princess, could you come with me to ask your mom if she'd like to do cake next, because I have no clue who the mom is and it's just like really overwhelming. 3, just for your benefit, know what you paid for. So on the you know, party website, there should be a list of what the party includes. So it'll be like 1 princess, a story time, a sing-along, game time, balloons or face paint, and it'll give you a list. So it's good for you to know what to expect at the party, because of course we're really flexible and I'll do whatever you tell me to, basically. But it's really nice for the performers if we come in and we're like, oh, what would you like to start with? And they're like, oh, whatever you want. So we can kind of go through the basic order that we're used to. And it gets you your money's worth, because if you don't know what we're supposed to do and you just have me sit with your daughter and open presents for an hour, it's really, you don't get your money's worth. 4 is just, please help control your children. And I don't mean that you have to supervise them the whole time, because we also don't want you like breathing down our necks the whole time during the party. But especially when we get there, I usually if the parent lets me do whatever, I would like to start with a story time. So I would have all the kids sit with me in a circle, and it's so hard like walking into a room of like a million strangers and like trying to control like 25 plus kids, especially when you're like, oh, I'm a pleasant little princess. Like, you can't really be authoritative. So it's really helpful if the guardian is just like, hey kids, let's all go sit in a circle quietly, you know, or like just whenever we move from activity. It's very, very helpful. Number 5, please do not tease the performer or try to make us break character, because with my company at least, right when I get out of my car and walk up to your house, I am in character, and I am in character until I get back into my car. And it's really important for us to be professional and make sure that we are in character the whole time, because for that day we are, you know, Elsa, Anna, whatever. I've just had like a bunch of experiences where like people at the party have been like, hey Elsa, you want some shots? And I'm like, like, what do you want me to say to that? Like, oh yeah, or like, and of course I'm gonna be like, oh no thank you, like a princess isn't even supposed to know what shots are. Or I don't even know, now I can't think of anything, but a lot of the times like when I'm leaving they'll be like, oh, like, where's your car parked? Like in front of the kids, and I'm like, oh well, my carriage will be picking me up in just a few minutes. So just try to go along with the magic, please. Number 6 is just keep in mind that we are human beings. I know that we are a fantasy character at this party, but we are human beings. So maybe don't sit us outside for story time when it's 110 degrees. Just like try to think of things like that. I know it's hard sometimes, but like one time I literally had to do like sing along. I was sitting in like 110 degrees in the sun, direct sunlight, and I was sitting behind a barbecue. So the smoke was blowing into my lungs as I was trying to sing, and I was trying not to choke and die the whole time, and it was really hard. And another time I was like the Little Mermaid, and they were like, oh, you can just sit on the floor with the kids, which would normally like be fine if I was in a dress, but I was in a tail, so I had to sit on my knees for like 45 minutes, maybe less than that, but still my legs were so numb, and I was just like, please, if you could just give me like a folding chair, that would be so great. 7 is please have around the right amount of kids. So online, there's usually a child limit for the party package that you choose, and it's usually like 10 to 15 for an hour party, which I feel like is like pretty generous. Like, and we do that for a reason. It's not like a recommendation. It's like should be mandatory. It's mainly for face painting and balloon twisting, to make sure we have enough time. But let me just, sometimes there are too little children, and I walk in expecting 10 to 15 children, and there is just the birthday girl sitting there with a bunch of adults. It happened numerous times, and I understand, like, even if your child doesn't have a bunch of friends, like, you want a princess to come hang out with them. But my plans are made for a party. I have time allotted to face paint 20 kids. I have time allotted to play games with numerous kids. So it's really awkward for me to be sitting there with one child trying to fill an hour of activities with this one kid, and I'm like, literally, what can we do? I mean, I always filled the time, but it's just like really awkward. And then if you have too many kids, that is also a very common issue. That is mostly an issue when it comes to face painting. I would usually give myself like 20 minutes tops for face painting, like a minute a kid. But if you have like 30 plus children, which has happened numerous times, like your whole party is going to be face painting. Or I'm gonna run out of time because I already did a story time or singing, and like I just can't face paint all your kids. And nobody ever accepts that. They're like, oh, just one more, just one more. And then I end up staying late. And that leads me to the last one. So please let us leave on time. at least with my company, but I think with most companies, it is crucial that you arrive the minute the party is beginning and leave the minute the party is ending. Because if we stay extra time, it means that you could have paid for a larger party plan and that the company could have made more money. And also, sometimes we have back-to-back parties. So if I have a 20-minute drive to my next party and then give myself 10 minutes to switch from Anna to Elsa, like, and then you make me stay 10 minutes late at your party, then I'm gonna be late to the next party, which is not good. Luckily, this only happened to me a few times, but it's just so hard because, again, I'm a princess, so I'm gonna be like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry, but unfortunately I have to head back to my kingdom now, but I had so much fun here, and that means that I have to leave. And a lot of people respect that, thankfully, but a lot of people are like, oh, well, could you just stay for the birthday song? And it's really hard for me to say no, because then I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, but I really do have to go. Prince Charming is waiting. And they'd be like, no, just stay for the birthday song. And then I get like sucked into staying for 10 more minutes, and it's so bad because I have to go. I have planned this party to the minute, and it's really hard, again, for me to be authoritative when I'm a princess in front of all these children and be like, no, like I have to leave. Like I'm not gonna do that. So please just be respectful and realize that when we say we have to go, we do have to go because you only paid for a certain amount of time. And yeah, that's all my facts. Sorry if that came out sort of aggressive. It's just, like I said, I had so many good experiences working as a princess, but it is frustrating sometimes after the party when you have to be cheerful the whole time and you have to deal with really difficult parents, and then you're like, oh my god. So hopefully this gave some insight to what it's like on the performer's end, and you know, they're helpful things to think about if you hire a performer, and honestly it'll improve your experience with us as well and make the party go smoother all along. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this video that's a little more, it's gonna be like the horror stories of working as a princess and just like some funny things I had to deal with. But it won't be quite as professional as this one. But yeah, if you have any questions about anything I said or questions about hiring a character performer, leave them in the comments down below. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed learning about these tips, and make sure to subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have magical parties with your children and their character performers. Later! Under the sea, under the sea. Oh, I'm so sorry, but unfortunately my time here has run. So I'm gonna be like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry, but unfortunately I have to head. I can't speak.